what's up, guys? It's Showtime from Showtime Shred Fitness over here. Size, growth, get big. All right, guys. So today is what? Tuesday. Great couple of days with my workout partner Trini Garibay. Dude is getting strong, man. Whole stack on everything today. Yesterday we did 200 reps on chest, which is a lot of fun. You know, that's a great pump, right? Today he did the whole stack on everything there at the Gold's Gym. We've also trained obviously quite a few times at Galloway's, okay? But today we trained at Gold's. Yesterday we trained at Gold's also, and the whole stack on the 250-pound lat pull machine for reps he got, and he got the whole stack for at least 3 to 6 reps on the seated pulley row as well, and then on the cable curls, he did the entire stack on that as well, which was heavy because that's all I did it for too, was 6 reps. Then I dropped it down to 80 pounds and just did a whole bunch of reps. Did about 30 reps after that for a pump. It's not arm day, so just playing around. But that is, and he is all natural, guys. So if you think you need these steroids and all these other types of things to get big and strong, guess again. It's all about the right nutrition, the right program, the right coach, the right workout partner, the right research, if you can do it by yourself, whatever it is, okay? The right prep coach, the right personal trainer. It really doesn't matter how you get to your goals as long as you're able to get there. I'm not one of these people that pushes my services on anybody, just like for people to be successful, right? I had that privilege, and I want to pass that on to others any way I can. So what I want you guys to realize, most importantly than anything else, is you know, this whole thing, this whole culture we have has changed since when I first got into the game in 1992. Okay, that's when I had my first show. I wasn't even thinking about taking the steroids, right, when I first started, right? Competed without them, everything. I don't know why this culture now is going straight to, I don't know if it's the media's fault or social media or the YouTube vids, but we've gone from, you know, people getting their maximum results, you know, as a natural athlete or even just a gym goer that doesn't want to compete for months to years at a time before they even think about going to that next level of getting that 10% edge, 5 or 10% edge that comes from anabolic steroids. And I don't get it. And maybe you can get, you know, in a year or two's worth of time in 30 to 60 days, but if you're not consistent throughout your life with it, you're not going to keep those results. Fair enough? And a lot of it's water. You get rid of that water and you're not much better than you were when you're clean. And if you're doing the wrong things, that's why you're not getting the results. You're shorting yourself when you do cross that line. I just think that's stupid for the first words to come out of somebody's mouth when they're trying to get into a fitness program. For health and fitness is where this whole thing came from anyways in bodybuilding, right? What steroids do I take? Get in the damn gym and earn your stripes first, and then if you make that decision, realize you're probably not coming back from it. You're probably not ever getting off of the motherfuckers, and if you do, you're probably going to go through a lot of psychological drama, especially if you don't know what the fuck you're doing with the PCT and all that other stuff. Depression can set in, sexual problems, and all these other types of things. You'll get smaller if you don't do the PCT after you get off them than when you started. So you're backwards, and you got to work back up, unless you know what you're doing with them, of course. And then that's different. But if you're in competition with yourself, like most people are, you want to be the best you that you could be. If you were benching 400 pounds on steroids and now you're benching 200 or 300 pounds, what do you think you're going to be tempted to do again? You're gonna stay clean? That one cycle you said that you were going to take, you're going to stick with that one cycle? Probably not. You're probably going to go back on, because you want to get back up to that 400 pounds or maybe go 500, right? And maybe you can't do it without them. Psychologically, you're addicted, right? So you want to get back up to that 400 pounds or more, right? And you might be depressed if you're doing 200 or 300 pounds when you were doing 4. If not, and you have the strong psychological mindset that's the best you could do clean, it's all you, it's no drugs, you did the drugs, you're fine with that one cycle, and you're okay doing 200 or 300 or even 350, then stay natural if you're not in depression, and you eventually probably surpass that 400 pounds if you continue with consistency and discipline, because the longer you do something, the better you get at it. And if it's just one cycle that you got up to that, there's no reason why with hard work and consistency and training you can't get back up to that 400 pounds, okay? We've been losing way too many athletes, guys, and a lot of people don't understand that this is not for normal civilians. Normal civilians think they want to get right on the drugs, and they don't want to take just one or two kinds of things in moderation to stay healthy with it. They want to go with the max stuff, right? They want to take these giant cycles and thinking that the pros are taking this when they're really at this, and so then they're damaging their bodies, and their receptors get shut off to where even to coast, they need a coast to even have natural testosterone levels when they get off, right? And it just doesn't make any sense to me. These guys aren't even competing, and they're damaging their bodies and risking dying when they might not be okay with that. You got to realize when you put on the gear, right, to go into battle, to go into war, when you're fighting another country, or back in the day when, Alexander the Great, when you're hand-to-hand combat, chances are you might die, right? And that was an honor back then, to die on the battlefield. But a lot of these cats, they don't have that warrior mentality where I might die if I take this stuff. And they're not okay with getting health risks and dying from this stuff. And they think that it's just, oh, poor me, and this. It's like, if you're gonna fucking strap up like that and you're gonna go to war, you better have that warrior mentality that serious side effects or death may occur if you take 10 or 20 units of growth hormone. By the way, is ridiculous, because I don't know any athletes that take that much shit. The hardest core I've heard of personally at my level, IFBB Pro or NPC, is 8 units on their hardest cycle, when usually they go 4 units or 2 units. And these motherfuckers are coming out saying, I gotta take 20. Where's your research coming from? Why do you gotta take 20? And I gotta take 5 grams a week, because that's what the pros are doing. I don't know any pros that are taking 5 grams a week. The ones that say that was a mistake and I had to lower it to 1 gram because I was doing 2 or 3 grams at the top amateur and pro level of what I've researched, what I've talked to, friends of mine, they're not doing 5 grams. Where are you coming up with this research, guys? This is a serious issue, and we've got fucking physique athletes now taking the same amount of drugs as the bodybuilders. Why are you going to do that? That now granted, Glenn is one of the hardest things out there, and you might end up getting going into cardiac arrest. People have died from just energy drinks, right? So I'm not saying that don't take Glenn, and I'm not against physique athletes taking tren, but some of them are taking that 4 to 10 units a day of the growth and all these high levels of test and all. It's like, as a physique athlete, why, if you're going to take that much stuff, why don't you come and compete in the classic bodybuilding and the hardcore bodybuilding? Why don't you go up against guys like me and Steve Thayer and Michael Spencer, who is natural, by the way. He doesn't take any drugs. Neither does Andre Galloway, and neither does Ben Matheson. So there's athletes that don't take anything, right? That are freaks and over 20-inch arms and all this other stuff. Andre had 22-inch arms in his prime, all natural. Ben had 20 or 21-inch arms in his prime, all natural. His arms still look just as big. They're still at least 20 inches. and all natural, right? And I'm not judging. If you want to go that route and you've paid your dues and you've got your stripes and you're doing it safely through a doctor, you're probably not going to get hurt. You're probably going to have very limited, minimal side effects because you're going through that process. Follow the anabolic doc if you got any questions. He's very straight up, positives and negatives about every fucking thing. He'll put things into perspective for you. You know, I'm here to answer any questions for you regarding those types of things. I want you to be safe and not hurt yourself. So I say stay natural, you know, but of course I'm not gonna fucking judge because I've got a lot of friends that take them, right? And I usually have gone through doctors and stuff, been completely legal for most of my stuff, right? I'm not gonna disclose anything right now at this point in time, on a personal level, because I don't feel like that's necessary. But what is necessary is you guys knowing the drill, knowing what is at stake here. If you're fucking putting all these different cocktails of stuff in there and wanting to be, oh, I can't believe this happened to me. How can you not think that you might not have side effects when you're taking that much shit? I mean, think logically here, okay? Again, if you go, this is my bed, I've laid in it, now I've had some issues, my fault. Okay, as long as you know what's at stake, and there's nothing wrong with if you're a top athlete and you go in balls to the wall and you're doing whatever it takes and you put your life on the line. That's a warrior mentality. And you guys that try to talk somebody like that out of, hey, you need to calm this down, you need to do this, you're not going to talk them out of shit. If they have that warrior mentality, they know what's at stake. They know what can happen to them. They're all about the win. They have that. I'm almost wondering if there's not a damn, because I've got this mindset too. If I win the contest and die, I'm okay with that because I went to war, and especially if I win, I fucking won. I won the battle, right? It's that way in business. It's that way in life. It's that way in sports. Okay, that's the warrior mentality that I have. Well, I don't give a fuck. If I'm training for a show, I want the win. And if I don't get the win, I'm okay with second place, last place even. But if I did everything I could, I never cheated on my diet. I always did my cardio. I went balls to the wall, bloody nose, passing out, throwing up, whatever it took to get through these brutal workouts, right? Got no issues with that. I've got no issues with whatever bed I'm lying in. That's it. That's for me. It's just what I do. Other people don't have that mindset. So if you don't have that mindset, do your research, please. And do an easier, and don't think that you can't. Plenty of natural federations you can compete in, or you can still compete natural in the NPC and even possibly the IFBB if you're good enough. You'll be at a little bit of a disadvantage, but I've seen some pretty successful motherfuckers. Look at the examples I gave you. Ben Matheson, very successful bodybuilder and powerlifter. 500-pound bench press, natural, 20-inch arms, 750-pound deadlift. Set records and everything back in the day. I set records too. They've all been broken since then because you're getting some freaks out there that now they're pulling 800 and 900-pound deadlift is very normal now. That's crazy. Some people even 1,000-pound deadlift. That's crazy. But that's awesome too. You know, it sucks for me because my fucking records have all been broken. My 680 and 700, I didn't even get to 700. I had it 7/8 of the way up. Never mind. 680 got shattered, right? Back in the day, that was a good lift, right? It's not anymore. It's very average or below average now. But it's neat to see that the sport evolved, right? Powerlifting is really going way up now. It's getting way better. Getting stronger and stronger athletes. 1,000 plus is still way up there. It's still phenomenal. Even in my day, Ryan Kennelly was the top dog. He's probably going to make a comeback and stay the top dog. He's the best powerlifter that I know personally, and a great guy with great intensity and integrity and character and all that stuff. He's phenomenal. So you got these athletes now that even the physique dying. 23 years old, 22 or 25 years old was one of the athletes, and the other athlete was 23. One was 25 and 23, or was 23 and 22. Way too young, guys, to be dying as a fucking physique athlete, unless it was just a fucked up jinx of a thing from the clan, especially because nowadays you got, back in the 90s, you take 2 tabs of clan, right? You may get a little shaky, you might have any issues, you might not even feel the shit, right? Nowadays, you take just a few MCGs, you can go down to that little 1 mark on the insulin needle, guys, and you're fucking shaking, you're fucking cramping up if you're not taking your supplementation that makes you not cramp. I'm just having a brain fart right now. I'll think of it here in a minute. But you take that one thing for, because even the plenty of water, if you're not taking this supplement, will cause you. Feel free to put it in the comments. I can't think of it right now. I've got some in the house. I'll go look at it. Fuck, I keep forgetting. But if you take that, it will help you not cramp up so much. But even then, you're still going to cramp, especially if you go the full 1 cc of that motherfucker, which I don't recommend. Then you might die if you're not used to it. But that's either 200 or 300 mcgs for a full cc. I don't recommend it. A lot of people will stop at that little 1 mark or the 5 mark. Obviously, I want the win, so I'm going the full cc on that motherfucker. But that's me, and it's not illegal yet. It's a peptide, so you can still do it legally for now. The DEA and FBI and all that, they're eventually going to make that illegal. Anything that works, the government always bans it. But if you take the which I don't recommend if you're a natural athlete in the gym trying to lose weight. Why are you going to take clenbuterol to lose weight if you're not competing? Just do it naturally over time. And if you are going to go that other route, out of all the things out there, other than the stuff that I was talking about before on that other video, you take that stuff, and I've never taken it before. Now it's another brain fart. I forgot the name of it, even though I did a DNP or some shit. But that's very, very dangerous. That can kill you. It's even more dangerous than Clen. T3, you know what? You take that for a while, get off of it. Your levels might be off. You might need to go on the medication. You might end up gaining more fat. So again, if you're not competing, why are you taking T3? Why not just take a no fat burners till you plateau, and then once you hit a plateau, why don't you just do the natural fat burners? And if you are going to do the other stuff, benefit to risk, the worst thing to take for your health is Tren. One of the best results you're going to get out of anything out there on the market is Tren. Benefit-wise, way high, but risk, way high, right? Anavar is way up there with Winnie V, way up there with Tren, but it's high benefit, but it's also low risk. So that's one that a lot of women will take because of that. And it's not near as bad, right, as some of the other stuff out there. Don't get me wrong. This is not a green light for you guys to go and take whatever the hell you want. Fair enough? Because if you do that, you're still playing with fire, right? You're putting in more of what you need into your body, unless you're at a testosterone or estrogen level deficiency, depending on if you're a man or woman, whatever, progesterone, whatever, thyroid. Those types of medications should be done through a doctor, through blood work. I'm talking about normal civilians here. I'm not here to preach to athletes, okay? But to normal civilians, man, why don't you just go through your doctor? God damn, this is a long video. I'm going to have to cut this off. That's it from me today, guys. I want to keep going. I've gone way over time. My goal was 5 to 10 minute video. This is almost 20. So I'm going to have to cut it off. But we just had another 42-year-old athlete die, I think today or yesterday. Wasn't competing anymore because he got some injuries and stuff. Had won some big shows, was training athletes. Very similar to the other athlete, Dallas McCarver, who passed away eating food, started choking. Same type of a deal. This guy started choking while he was eating food, hit the deck, couldn't breathe. Horrible way to die. I feel very bad for him and his family. Heart exploding, I'm okay with that. I don't want to go the way this poor guy did. I feel sorry for him. He was eating his food. He started choking. His lungs filled up with fluid, rushed to his brain, coma, died in the hospital. Very tragic, very sad. You know, if I go, I'm okay with that, but let it be a massive heart attack, man. I don't want to go through no suffering like that. That's a sad, unfortunate thing. Again, I feel bad for him and his family, and especially when it's sudden like that, nobody expects it. It's hard on the family, you know. Apologize for that. You know, it's a sad thing. You can't take it back. You can't prep for that, right? My advice to you is, so many times it happens where you're, you know, very attached to certain friends or family members. Let them know on a daily basis how much you love them, because tomorrow they might not be here. Later today, 10 minutes from now, they might be gone. You might be gone. So make sure you end your life on a positive note, not on an argument, not on a saying something bad about somebody so it gets back to them, you know, after you pass away. People, whether you're worried about them or not, mom, dad, brothers, sisters, kids, tell them how much you love them, because the worst thing ever is to outlive your kid. You don't ever want to fucking do that, but you don't fucking know. You know, you don't want your last conversation with your kids being you hurting their feelings or something like that. You don't know what's going to happen. So make sure that you end your to the most you can, because you're going to sometimes have people taking advantage. You're going to have to stick up for yourself and maybe get a little bit mean back to them or whatever. But if there's no need to raise your voice or insult somebody or put somebody down, don't do it. Tell them how much you love them and stuff, because again, we don't know how much time we have, right? Here one day, gone the next. Sometimes it's a scary thing. Life is precious. You know, live every day like it's going to be your last one, because someday you're going to be right. Put those statistics in your favor. What do I mean by that? Live as healthy as you can. Eat as best nutrition as you can. Do some even if it's walking around the block, if you don't want to get into an exercise program, do something for your health, something for your heart, something for your cardiovascular, and try to stay away from the drugs and alcohol the best you can. Again, I'm not here to preach. Because of the fact we only have one life, some people love to drink and smoke and go to the casino and everything else. I mean, whatever makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting other people. Be careful with even the gambling and stuff, because that might hurt other people. Especially if you got kids, if you're going and blowing your whole check in an hour, you know, not only is that going to cause depression on your part, it's going to mess with your family and their quality of life and stuff like that. So if you're going to do something like that, make sure you keep it as a hobby and you budget it, and not hurt yourself financially because of poor decisions. All right, that's enough. That's enough for the one day. I've gone over 20 minutes now, 23 minutes. It probably won't even let me upload this on YouTube or regular Facebook now. It's probably too long, but I wanted to get this out, and God bless all of you, you know. Again, I'm not here to pass judgment. I'm just here to pass education. Do what you want. Just really research what you do before you do it, and be okay with whatever consequences may come from that lifestyle. Even if your lifestyle is, oh, I'm all natural. I mean, this guy's gonna kill himself over here with what they're doing, and meanwhile they got a cigarette in one hand and a beer in the other. They're still doing drugs, and they're not gonna look near as good as somebody else they're passing judgment on that maybe taking a little bit of this or that to look a certain way and busting their balls in the gym. They're probably healthier than you. Just to clarify things, you know, if you're doing the drinking and the alcohol and not exercising, chances are, even if they're doing a little bit of test or something, they're probably going to outlive you. So, you know, you really want to be in your shoes or theirs? Well, you can only answer that question for yourself. Some people are very happy with drinking and smoking and not exercising, and they love their life. I'm okay with that. If you are, you know, again, I'm not here to pass judgment. I think you got one life. Live it the way you want to live, and take no prisoners, and just be okay with whatever consequences may come with whatever you put in your body. That's it. It's been Showtime with Showtime Shred Fitness over here. Size, growth, get big. All right. Oh, one thing, I'm going to disclaimer here. If I mention a name and I didn't specify they were natural, it doesn't mean they're not natural, okay? If I mention another athlete in here and go, oh, that guy does steroids because he didn't... No, it's not what I said. That's not what I said. I only pointed out the 3 athletes that I know for a fact are clean. All natural, lifetime natural. Okay? That was just Michael Spencer, Andre Galloway, and my dad, which I didn't mention. He's got 10 to 12 world titles. He's lifetime natural. He had to research with a pharmacist before he even went to the before he even did the creatine at age 42 or 44. That's when he first started taking one little tiny scoop of it is all he does a day, puts it under his tongue and lets it dissolve with water. That's the only supplementation he does other than protein powder. And before that, he was doing the garbage slim fast, which does not help, and zero creatine. And even in his 20s and 30s, he had a 405 bench, 605 deadlift. He took the creatine, and he got up to 668 on the deadlift, set multiple world records, and won multiple world titles in WABDL, which is the World Association of Bench and Deadlift, run by Gus Retchwith or something like that. I've been a long time. I've been out of that federation for quite some time now, but been doing the UPA, USPA, those two federations, and recently neither one. Blew out my knee for one thing, but even then I was away from the powerlifting for a while, other than to supplement my bodybuilding. But the other athletes that I mentioned, I've never asked them, and they've never volunteered information. So whether they still might be all natural, I don't know. I haven't had that conversation. Hey, do you take this, that? I haven't had that conversation. Not with Steve Thayer. He could be natural. He could not be. I don't know. Fucking know. I've never asked him. And the other athletes that I mentioned were myself and the other natural athletes. So if I mentioned another athlete, could still be natural. These guys, you got to remember, they've been doing this for decades now. Okay, day after day, week in, week out, hour after hour, day after day, 365 days a year. The only days they've taken off are the days that they take off for rest to grow, but not rest because they're lazy or they don't feel good or they don't feel like it. In those cases, they still show up at the damn gym. Okay, if they're not sick, if they're not in the hospital, they're not in jail, and they're not dead, they're in the gym. So, they still could be natural. I just don't know for a fact one way or the other. Because some athletes like Chad Martin and Andre Galloway and my dad, they go out of their way to tell people they're natural. Just because they don't want other people to do it. But there's other people that are natural that just want to go to another level and they say, you know what? I don't give a fuck these guys are on steroids. I'm going to win anyways. And I'm not going to give it up as an excuse if I lose, saying, well, I only lost because I was natural and this guy was juicing. They don't want to take the glory away from the other athletes, so they do this. So, again, I say, I've said this before. I've said it a million times. Arnold Schwarzenegger has said this. If you take all the drugs out of all the sports, my belief, you're still going to have probably the same fucking champions. Because we're all in the same boat, the same rules, right? So, it's still going to be the same champions, in my opinion. Okay? All right. Rant over, and it's not a rant. This is a legit thing. This is wanting you to really know what the fuck you're doing and what you're putting in your body and what is at stake. Because again, we're losing way too many athletes, and I don't know what happened with the 22-year-old and the 25-year-old and the 42-year-old. I'm not saying that this is a result of taking anabolic steroids either, okay? It's just that this is very common in sports, not just bodybuilding, but golf and tennis and football and wrestling and professional wrestling and baseball and basketball players take HGH like it's candy, so don't think that this is just going on in my sport, and don't think that it has to be a protocol for sports, because there's plenty of natural athletes have thrived in sports. What I like about my sport, bodybuilding and powerlifting, is you can choose your path. You don't have to go up and compete in a disadvantage unless you want to, but then don't bitch if you do a show that's not tested and complain because you lost because you were natural, when you could go to a natural federation and compete on a level playing field. Do your thing. it's all about being the best you could be anyways. So if you were 220 shredded as a guy that's chemically enhanced, the next show you want to be 225 and shredded, right? Or if you weren't quite lean enough, you're going to have to drop it. You might come in at 210, 215, be better. Is that numbers game too? Or if you're a natural athlete, your best bench press is 400. You try to get up to 450. Okay, it's competing against yourself. Don't fucking worry about where you are against everybody else, because if you keep improving and keep moving up in the ranks because of that, eventually you're going to probably win the shows anyhow. Fair enough? And if you're not making improvements, of course you're not going to win the show. Never going to happen. So keep improving yourself, and eventually you'll be competitive against other people. All right, this has been Showtime with Showtime Shred Fitness over here. Size, growth, get big. All right.